Are we ready?
All right, ready.
No bras required. The podcast where two girlfriends talk about everything from diapers to death and do it all braless and brutally honest.
I'm Megan. I'm a mom of four, lifelong educator, dance studio owner, coffee and wine snob, and never afraid to speak my mind.
And I'm Patti, mom of three, teacher turned leader, dance boss, loud laughter, tequila enthusiast, and professionally unfiltered.
Together, we've got over 30 years in education, 7 kids, 2 studios, countless bottles of wine and tequila, and a whole lot of stories to share with you.
What's No Bras Required all about? It's a space for women like us who are juggling life, entrepreneurship, parenting, work, marriage, friendship, grief, joy, chaos, and just need some real talk.
So, whether you're sipping wine in leggings, hiding in your car, or rage cleaning your kitchen, we're here for you. Hey, Patty.
Hey, Megan.
Woo! We are back.
We are back. How you doing?
I'm doing great. August is going to be a hot month of lots of things going on, but I'm excited for it. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm excited for what we've got planned out.
me too.
Uh-huh.
Should we just dive into it? Because I feel like, um, yeah, I feel like we got a lot to say.
Well, I'm never short of opinions.
That is one of our tenants, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no
yeah,
filters, lots of opinions. So, welcome
yeah.
back to No Bras Required, the podcast where we talk about everything from diapers to death. And apparently, leadership reels that make internet strangers very angry.
Well, who knew one sentence about checking your job description would unleash the keyboard warriors?
Honestly, I think we knew that it could happen at some point.
True,
This
true,
was just
true.
not the episode that I thought, oh yeah, we really went there on that one. So,
Yeah, seriously. But so this month we're talking about the stuff that nobody warns you about when you become the boss.
because leadership isn't hard because of spreadsheets, even though spreadsheets are hard and pivot tables are hard. It's hard
Yeah.
because of people, including dun 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 ourselves.
So, episode one, we're going to get into, are you asking me or are you asking permission?
Yeah, we're just gonna rip that band-aid off, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, so apparently I offended half the internet.
Well, glass half full, the other half wants to work for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. hmm And we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about why.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think it's a great conversation of
100%. Yeah.
why this one,
Trigger.
yeah, why it triggered people so much because it really did. But I think it hits on a lot of deeper issues. So, yeah,
Yeah.
here we go.
Here we go. So, I guess we should talk about what happened with the viral reel. If people are new, um, last week we posted a reel for one of our podcasts that had me talking about a question that and I stand by it, has served me so well as the leader in my business. And it was when people are coming to me asking questions, and it's specifically on things that I feel that they should know. Because yes, I have trained them on them. And yes, it has been discussed. So it isn't about them. It is about me, which if you watched the whole 60 seconds, you would have known. Um, but I said, tell me why you're asking me this. Do you need permission? Or have I like not given you facts? Are you looking for information? Which is, and again, I'm saying it, if you watched it, you'll know It was about me getting answers so that I know how to empower them to do their job and make sure that they know what they're doing. And in a clip, it said, good, now go check your job description. Now, I'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But that is what triggered people. Um, so
Oh, and
I
let's
don't
go
know,
through, let's, let,
some of our favorite
let me
comments.
share some comments as I'm
Let's
looking
do it.
back through this. Um,
Okay. Do you
yeah.
want me to respond to them?
Yes, yes. I will.
Okay.
Can I
You
play
read and I
commenter
respond?
and you
Okay.
respond? Okay, I like
Okay.
this game. So this reel had over 500,000 views. It was wild, wild as we were getting the updates. And then of course the comments blew up.
Yeah.
And there's one comment that said, if a manager says to an employee, go back and read your job description, you're not a leader.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. And then there's
Um,
quite a good
do you want me to?
conversation. Yeah, but go. And what do you say to that?
You're not entirely wrong, depending on the context. So, in my business, we go over job descriptions and what your role is in your onboarding. And I don't do a day of onboarding, I do a week of onboarding. It's a team training. So, um, yes, I agree with you, but not if you work for me.
There you go. Um,
Next.
mhm.
Sorry, I hope my tone wasn't condescending.
Well,
I
you know,
was a wink, Megan. You missed it.
I did. I really liked this one. This was probably my favorite comment of all of them. People being critical. Now imagine a dude is saying this. Totes fine,
Oh, yeah. Can we give a shout out to the person that said that?
right?
Who is it?
Her name is Catherine Mitchell. Catherine Mitchell, you get it. You get us.
Catherine Mitchell. We love you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, can we comment on the fact that most of the angry comments and a lot of this reel was responded to by men, both in the positive and the negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like one dude asked me for a job. He's like, "Can I work for you, pretty please?" And it's like, if you like what I said when it made everybody else mad, yes, sir, you can. I don't know if you dance, but you can.
Might want to know a little bit about our business. Um,
Send me your audition tape. Yeah.
yeah, Alyssa said so many managers want to micromanage their teams, so workers get accustomed to never making a move without explicit permission. Then they move to another
Yes.
role with a manager who wants their team to think independently, and they struggle with that level of autonomy. Yes, Alyssa, that is the point.
That is 100% the point of that question. Because sometimes, like, you interview people, but it's like going on a first date. Are you being 100% your real self? Probably not. And it takes time to get to know each other. Now, I do make a big effort to get to know my people as people. Like, I want to know their hopes, I want to know their dreams, I want to know their 5 year plan, and I want to know how I can be a part in supporting that. That is all part of my onboarding process. And I do, and I will die on the sword, know my people well.
Yeah.
I make every effort to know my people and support them in what they're doing. Um, being said, that comment was the entire point of that whole podcast. And it wasn't a reflection on the employee, it was to train entrepreneurs how to do that better. Are you micromanaging or are you empowering your people to come to you with solutions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you
and
have
I
anything
think
to add?
Thomas has a great point in his, because I'm not going to read all the negatives and the nasties, but anyone who has this lack of confidence has usually been taught by a controlling leader at a previous job that they can't act without permission, even if they know full well what they are doing. And I think
Yeah.
that's a very fair point, is that, we all come with our own stories, our own backgrounds, our own histories.
Mm-hmm.
It is our job as leaders to shape our employees into the type of people that are going to work within our organization and
Yeah.
with our type of leadership.
Yeah.
We know that being a micromanaging leader is not effective. It's going to cause you to burn out. And
Yeah.
so yes, sometimes we do have employees, just like Thomas said, who do not have the confidence to be able to take their training, take what they know. There was a reason we hired them for that job, and to run with
Mhm,
it and do it. And so they're constantly asking for permission.
mhm.
And sometimes you have to have that honest conversation of, are do you need permission from me? Did I not give you permission to go and do the job I hired you for? Or are you lacking information in being able to do it?
Yeah,
It's in your job description. I've taught you the systems, I've trained you, we've onboarded you. What are we missing?
yeah. And it wasn't what are you missing? It's what am I missing?
Right.
And I will go a step further. Sometimes I'm missing nothing. And it's just a way to open the conversation gates of you already have my permission. That's why I put it in your job description. So you have a legal form of recourse to say, you told me I have permission to do that. It's not to protect the employer. Sometimes it's actually to notify the employee and give them the legal backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a deeper conversation that a lot of people are having. Like I'm just looking through some of these. Like Landry was saying, every job they've ever had, they were required to ask permission because the bosses couldn't let go of the control. It says a lot about you as a leader if you're requiring that from your people.
Well, yeah, and that leader doesn't want to grow or be able to scale their business. They want to manage control. And
Right.
if like the first thing I give up is probably the least thing. But it's like for me, my off and this still floors me. Whenever we have new admin come in, they're like, "Can I get this day off?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Like, did you talk to the people you work with?" And they're like, "Well, don't I have to approve it through you?" And I'm like, "No. Why would I manage your schedule? Like, if you're working here, I believe that you have the capability and the know-withal to create your own schedule. All I care about is that that desk is covered. Like, why would I micromanage that?
Yeah.
Like, but I also fully understand a lot of people are not given that autonomy in their job. I don't like to call myself the boss. I don't want to be the boss. I am the creative visual of like where my business is going. That's what I like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan had a great insight on this. He said, "Dang, powerful. I wish I knew this back in 2016 when everyone came to me and eventually I had to finish doing their job because I didn't know how to stay in my lane without feeling like I had to carry the world in that job. I was a pushover, a people pleaser, a helper without boundaries. This is a masterful articulation and staying where you are and holding them accountable instead of trying to pass the buck back to the superior."
Jonathan, dude, same. That's how I got to this point.
Right.
I was exactly the same when I started. I just wanted everybody to be happy and to like me, and that is a recipe for disaster in leadership.
Well, and I think you and I have both learned this the hard way, as many people have when they step
Yeah.
into leadership, because, and we'll talk about this later in the month, but being that people pleaser, being that person who wants to make everybody happy, you give so much of yourself, you end up doing everything. And I remember
Mhm,
clearly, probably 4 or 5 years ago, looking at my payroll,
mhm,
looking at the amount of people that I had on payroll, feeling
mhm,
exhausted. And I'm like, I am paying so many people good money to do a job that I end up having to do, or
mhm,
that somehow I end up doing, and I'm exhausted. I could take that money, pay myself very well, get rid of all of these people, and get one really good person or two really good people to do the same job and pay them extremely well. Like, why?
mhm.
Why are we feeling this way? And I had to really sit down and go through, what is it that is happening here?
Yeah, yeah. And I think you and I are so aligned on this. Like, I know so many studio owners that have like a team of 27,
Hmm.
but like they'll teach, like maybe one of their teachers works 2 hours a week. That to me is so, I could not run my business like that. I used to have a lot more, and I'm like, I would far rather pay top dollar for some key individuals that get it done, that are like-minded, that I don't have to manage because we're on the same page. Like it feels like we're running the race together, and sometimes we look beside each other like we're doing it. Like that is a team I want. I don't want the team of 27 where you need those, you need to have more operations to keep everybody in play.
Yeah, you're constantly managing the management to
I will
manage
for
the managed.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's like
yeah.
the org chart is out of control and everybody's just managing people and nothing is actually getting done. And
And your staff even like that because they've got to go find other work. Like I'd rather have people that are invested because it's their livelihood. So they want to be part of a winning team. They want to be part of growth. They want to have autonomy in their role and they want to be proud of it.
yeah,
That is my ideal team. So that's what I look to build.
yeah.
The
And
number, like being able to, I manage a team of 35. I'm like, kudos to you. I don't want any part of it.
oh, well, and all the research shows that, I mean, you really shouldn't have more than three, at most four people underneath you that you're directly managing because you can't manage them.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. You can't keep up with it. It's impossible and it just creates chaos. So, you know, yeah, we learned, like I said, we learned it the hard way, but
Mhm.
we have seen it in so many ways where people are just overwhelmed and fail and they're paying out tons of money for people that they're like, well, what exactly do you do here? And when you have to ask that in your own business, here's the problem. What exactly do
Mhm.
you do here? And what am I paying you for?
What is your job? One thing that I really like, let's get into the difference between asking for information and asking for permission.
Yes.
So to me, I would love to get everybody on my staff, and I actually think I do have people, everybody does this with us. But first of all, I want them to be able to see a problem or recognize it and know that they're able and welcome to come up with solutions. Then I want them to bring it to the team, like either in staff meeting or to me if they feel it's urgent, and go, this is a problem. This is what the solution is, in my opinion, or this is what I would do. This is how I think we roll it out.
Mhm.
That's coming and asking for a second set of eyes. What do you see? What are the holes in this? Can we talk this out? And I love that. Asking for permission is like coming in and going, I haven't had one in so long. Let me think.
Well, I
The
mean,
is
you've
this
got a
is this
student.
email okay?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
this email
yeah.
okay to send out?
Yeah. Can you read through this email? Does it sound okay? And it's like a basic email of responding to a makeup class, right? Or somebody who's coming in and, oh, we signed up for
Mhm.
this, but we're not able to do it now. It hasn't even started. Can I refund them? What's the policy? Like I mean, it's things that they should know and should be able to do without
Yeah,
needing to ask you about it because one, it's in a system. Two, it's part of their job and their daily job, right? It's not one
yeah,
of those out of the ordinary things where they're like, hey, this crazy thing happened and how would we handle it? Okay.
yeah. And those ones normally come because that customer is just louder or squeakier than the others that came before them.
Yeah, but I
Like,
think there's a big difference, and I see this a lot in the school setting where when we were talking about what exactly do you do here? I feel like I say this a lot because we have so many jobs in so many places and like so many secretaries for things and so many people who specialize in this one thing. It's not just about teaching, but it would be like a teacher coming to me and being like, "Hey, I would like to give a test on Thursday." Is that okay? It's your classroom.
Yeah.
Are the kids ready for the test? Have you taught
Yeah.
them the material? Is it time to assess? Yes, give the test. Like whenever it needs to fall within the calendar, like you're supposed to. Like, why are you asking me permission to
Yes.
do this part of your job? Like, I'm not even the one to be able to say and answer any of those questions for you.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know they're ready?
Well, or like, why do you feel you need to come to me and ask this question? What do you see potentially going wrong with giving a test on third? Like,
Right.
because it's so, when the answer is so blatantly obvious, then it's like, what are you seeing that I don't see that makes this a question to come to me with?
Well, I mean, it'd be like my front desk person being like, hey, the toilet paper's out. Is it okay if I go replace it?
Absolutely not.
Why? No, we are all going to drip dry today. So
Yes.
just make sure you put a sign on the front desk because, like, yes, go replace the toilet paper. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't even a question that needs to be asked. And I think moms, we get it because at home, we are constantly peppered with questions from our kids.
Hmm.
Can I have a snack? Can I do this? Can I do this? Blah blah blah. It's ongoing, and
Yeah.
it feels like when you are a leader, when you are a boss in an organization, whether you own the business or you're in management, you don't want your employees to feel like your children.
No. And sometimes it's hard to decipher between the two because if you have a child that comes to you at home and says, hey, we're out of toilet paper, which you like, I would look at my child and go, you noticed it, you fix it.
Mm-hmm. I
So
feel
you have
like,
the ability to notice,
yep,
go fix it with a solution because I need you to know to do this when you leave my home.
or
So would I speak to an employee the same way? No,
no.
no.
But
Um,
you and I both have in our bathrooms, we have little signs that say "Be the change." Like, read the sign, follow the directions. It's just like reading your job description and doing it.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I think that's the frustrating part for leaders. And I understand also, I mean, reading the comments and seeing how this hit a nerve for people who are managed, right? For employees, is when you're hired to do a job that you are supposed to be the expert at. There's a
Hmm.
reason you were hired into that position. I hire people who are thinkers and doers.
Yeah,
And I need those people who are in those positions to be thinkers and to be doers, to take
yeah,
initiative and to take action.
yeah,
And, and yes, you have to clarify as the leader, when is it time to ask permission? When do we need to have
yeah.
discussions?
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got
It's
to put
not
those
carte
boundaries in
blanche,
place.
right?
Yeah,
Going like, hey, we're going to start this new revenue stream and I'm like doing all this stuff. Time out, is this within our vision? Is this
yeah,
within our plan for the year? But as you were saying, if it's in their job description, it's part of a system that they are over, there shouldn't be questions.
right. If they've been trained properly. And yes, I do know there's bad managers and bad leaders.
Yeah.
And but the if you're an employee that sees a problem, has a solution, takes it to their employer and is brushed off or given grief over it, one, like listen to the feedback, take what's necessary. But if this is a constant, go find a new boss.
Yeah.
Because if you continue to stay, that's also a you issue.
Right. And, I think, are we talking about the training?
Yeah.
Are we training people to need us? And some of this comes from our
Oh,
personal need to be needed. And when you've owned a business
yeah.
and you've built the business from the ground up and you were the person for a
Mm-hmm.
long time,
Mm-hmm.
And then you have grown, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And now you need to hire people.
Mm-hmm.
It is very hard to give up that control, to give up that need to be needed, right? Or that want to be needed. And to
Mm-hmm.
walk into your business and be like, oh, they don't need me.
It's
Freeing,
hard.
fabulous, totally freeing and wonderful. But there is a little bit of that sadness and grief and like, oh, I'm not needed here.
Yeah. See, and I equate it to parenting. Like yesterday, and this is a perfect example. I was doing a couple solos and duets, sat down with the mom. Her kids were crawling all over her. And I was like, oh, I am so glad my baby is 18 and nobody is mauling me anymore. And we were comparing, the conversation was, um, what was it? She's like, I just need to find some space where nobody can touch me. And I can't remember what her word was, quit something me. And I'm like, my word when my kids were little was quit mauling me. And Todd was there and he's like, it was. She'd be like, quit mauling me all the time. So putting systems in place that give your staff autonomy is the equivalent to getting to the teenager stage of your business where you can walk in and you have personal space. If you want to touch base with your children, you have the freedom and the systems in place to do it. But if you want a you day, you also have the freedom and the systems in place to do that. And while it can be hard, to me, it all comes down to your ego. If your ego's okay and you know that you've got other things in your life that light you up, um, your ego's going to be just fine running a successful, steady business. If your ego is not okay with not being needed, you're going to blow that up in some way, shape, or form so that you have to rush back in and save it. And we've seen it time and time again with studio owners. But it's like that is the telltale. And it's like, I didn't go through this much struggle, pain, work, sweat, tears, blood, money, all of it to blow it up.
Right.
But
I, yeah.
yeah,
I think, I mean, and I agree. It's just like parenting. And I see, think about for those of you that do deal with parents and you do deal with kids, we do on a daily basis. The parents that micromanage their children, that do everything for their kids, that are
mm-hmm.
involved in everything, every grade. That it's not the kid asking questions, every assignment, the mom is emailing 15, 20 times, teachers getting bombarded by this mom who, oh, I have this question and this question. And okay, when they're in kindergarten and they can't read and you're not quite sure what's coming out of Johnny's mouth and is this the truth? Maybe. When they're in high school and you're asking about assignments and you are asking about schedules and you are doing all of the communication with the school, problem. Red flag, problem. You are micromanaging your kid. And
Yeah,
they are going to be incapable of managing themselves
yeah,
because they've never had to. And I see it. You and I've had this conversation, taking a
yeah.
left turn on it. Employees now, they're coming in having been micromanaged by their parents. They've
Yeah.
never been left to ask questions on their own, to learn something on their own, to do it on their own. So part of it is we are almost having to parent
Mm-hmm.
the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is what we're supposed to do. I need you to go and do it.
Yeah.
Why are you not capable of doing this without somebody holding your hand? That is
Yes.
a problem. It is a problem.
But also, and I tell my dancers this all the time, there has never been an easier time in history to stand out for doing the bare minimum. When you show up, you do it well and you do it with confidence.
Yep.
And and even better, if you're honest about it. Like if you mess up, and I tell my staff this all the time, I'm going to screw up.
Yeah.
I am going to screw up and I'm going to apologize when I do. And we're going to have to try and fix it as a team. I expect you to also screw up from time to time. You're going to make a mistake. you're going to keep and maintain my trust if you come to me and I hear about it from you first. Even better if you come with a solution. But please don't ever be afraid to come to me and say, I messed up. Like, we're humans. We're all humans having human experiences. I expect that to happen. Now, are you allowed to make the same mistake more than once? We might have a talk if it keeps happening, because that's not, you're just not learning,
Mhm.
right? But it is it is a lot like parenting, and like you said, like the difference is support versus saving. So, as a mom and as an entrepreneur, if my kid gets in the car after like a hockey practice and, coach was hard on me, why? What did coach say? I do not automatically go, you poor baby, what did he say? I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. I'm going to phone him tonight. I'm going to rip him a new one. Like, that has never been a conversation. Even when I wanted to, my kid never got to see that side. And
Yeah.
that's key. So if the kid jumps in the car and it's like, coach was so mean to me, it's like, why? What did coach say? Okay, is there any truth to that that you can take away from? Like, what do you think your coach really meant? Maybe they had a bad day too. They're allowed to have a bad day. Maybe it came out short, whatever. What do you need to learn from this experience?
Yeah.
And then I left it to my kids to deal with. They were always able to come to me if it was, and that's what I said to them. I want you to try and handle it on your own. But if it gets too big, I am here. I will always be here.
Right. I mean, and even on a simpler level, we've talked a lot about parenting. Think about your kid going to college and they've
Mm-hmm.
never done laundry in their entire lives.
Right.
And now you've
Or
left them to do their laundry and figure out how to use the washer and the dryer on the crappy college washers and dryers that we know don't always work. And they have to, so they're throwing everything in because nobody taught them and nobody helped them. It is that
yeah,
idea of I'm here to support, but I'm not going to do it for you because
yeah.
these are things you need to have in order to be successful in life,
Mm-hmm.
in this job, and there's a
And
difference there,
yeah.
when you've taught them how to separate the colors, you've taught them how to turn the washing machine on and put the soap in, and you've given them the whole process and the whole procedure of how to do laundry, and then they mess up. They turn
Yep.
something pink. All right, here's how we fix it. Right? You walk them through when they've made that mistake versus just sending them off and being like, "Whoop, good luck." But if you're constantly going through and they're continuing to turn all of their whites pink and you've taught and retaught, what's the problem here? I think you're going to need to go buy yourself some new white shirts out of your money because you keep ruining the ones that I'm not going to pay for them anymore.
Or learn to like pink.
Correct. I mean, it's a great color.
Looks good on you.
Just not orange.
Yeah. Just not orange. Agree. Although I saw you on an orange dress and I'm like, dang, orange might be your color, but I don't want to tell you that.
I did wear orange for graduation, but yeah,
Yeah,
but
it looked good on you.
in a dress, not like a jumpsuit, you know,
This is true.
not for show.
Yeah, if I ever see you in an orange jumpsuit, I might have to.
Could get dicey. I don't know. There's some days. But yeah, I mean, in dealing with employees, I know I I have lived in both worlds for a very long time. And
Mhm.
it's hard when you are just the entrepreneur, you're the boss, you haven't had a boss in a long time. You and I've had this conversation because we were part of a group where we had all these entrepreneurs who had been their boss
Mhm.
for a long time to then be hired and absorbed into an organization where now they were an
Collective.
employee.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the side conversations from that of how they struggled with people telling them what to do, when to do it, how to do it, calling
Yeah.
them out if they weren't doing things in the timeline or the right way, was very, to me, very comical. because I was like,
Yeah.
this is exactly what happens when you put a bunch of entrepreneurs together who haven't had a boss in a
Well,
long time. I get
yeah.
it. I get it, but I think we learned a lot in that flipping to the employee side of when your systems aren't clear, when your
Uh-huh.
communication isn't clear, when you're inconsistent with your expectations, it creates friction for your employees.
Hmm. Or when your words don't match your behavior.
Right.
That's like, say as I do, not as I say. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Or you're trying to please people and you're not holding people accountable. You're
Yeah.
not, you're not taking what seems like that cold line of,
Hmm.
are you asking for permission? Do you need information? Oh, you just wanted permission. Go back and read your job description. This is
Yeah.
what it says. It
Yeah.
seems so cold, but it's so factual. It takes the feelings and the wanting to be liked and the emotion out
Hmm.
of it of like, this is what you're hired to do. Here's your deadlines. Here's your KPIs.
Yep.
This is your job. You
Yeah.
don't need permission to do your job. This is what I hired you to do.
Yeah. Now go have fun.
Right. Go do it and do it
I,
well.
I love the 80-20 rule for my staff. Like, we've had staff meetings where somebody's like, I hate this part. And I'm like, I hate this part of my job. I hear you, but what parts do you like? And if they're like, oh, I like this, and I'm like, so this is a 20%? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's why it's called work and not a holiday. Like, this is why. So it's like, if I can make my employees and my team enjoy 80% of their roles and there's 20% they hate, it's like, that's why we got to pay you. Otherwise, you want to do it for free. Like, especially in the jobs that we have, right? Like, I stand by. Best job on the planet, also one of the hardest to do. And I was talking about this morning with a different business owner in our local community, and I'm like, it's very rare to see the 40-year-old studio owners anymore. Most are giving it up at around 20, 25 years if they make it that long, because of how hard it is. And so, like, those battle tested studio owners, like, kudos to you.
Yeah.
Because, like, seriously, warriors. I don't think there's another word for it.
I think in any industry where you are dealing with kids and parents,
Uh huh.
we are seeing that level of burnout
Oh,
skyrocket.
yeah.
And it's definitely something to dive into and to really think about why. Because we're seeing it in education too. Most teachers are leaving by
Yeah.
year 5, if they even make it that long. And a lot of it is the expectation of what a teacher, a coach, anybody who's working with children should be doing. They're there
Mm-hmm.
because they love kids.
Yep. Most of them.
Most, no, I have always said there are always the bad eggs.
Yeah.
Get rid of them as quickly as you can. But for the most part, people get into teaching, they get into coaching, they get into working with kids because they love kids. They love instilling that passion, the knowledge, watching them grow, you know, but the expectation that we have as a society on
Mm-hmm.
these people of what they're supposed to produce in a year,
Mm-hmm.
which is out of control. It's not developmentally appropriate. It's not even where kids are incapable of. What we think they're supposed to do outside of just teach, the level of what we expect schools to be able to do now is out of control.
Yeah.
Like they are not the doctor, the hospital, the therapist, plus the teacher and the family,
Yeah.
instilling values. It's wild how it's ballooned into if you are dealing with kids, you're really expected to almost raise them and, or turn them into these like mini professionals for whatever sport or dance or whatever they're in at the age
Yes.
of 3. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're still learning how to jump on two
Yeah.
feet. Like,
Yeah.
that's developmentally appropriate. You
Yeah.
know, the parenting end of it. But parents are getting it from Facebook and from society of, oh, this should be happening and this and this and this. We've lost the plot. And
Yeah.
then there's so
Well,
much pressure on teachers to
yeah.
meet those expectations and they can't. And then they blame themselves. And yes, I will say, I know a lot of teachers are sitting here saying, well, it's the administrators. Well, the administrators get those expectations from somewhere as well. It's not them coming up with it on their own, it's coming
Yeah.
from the top. And then those people are getting it from the school board, and those people have gotten it from their constituents who voted them in. Like it's a whole
Yeah.
chain reaction.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, the level of burnout is crazy. It's the
It's
best
high.
job and the worst job in the entire world.
Yeah. Well, and just speaking specifically to dance, why do we have 7-year-olds spending 20 hours a week in a studio? That's a part-time job. Like, and the things that kids are required or expected to do now at earlier stages and ages, when it's like, is their body going to recover from this? Right? Like, and not everybody puts in the same work ethic, but that is not realized by a lot of parents. Some are great. Some, and I am so blessed to have the best, I still will die on the sword. I have the best dance parents in the industry. Like, but I do think it's because I teach them the narrative is strong at our studio on like, this is what we find is acceptable, age appropriate, physically, mentally, developmentally, all of it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But I'm not changing how I do it. And I just because I've stopped people pleasing because y'all just make myself crazy.
Yeah. Well,
So, and I have to look at myself at the end of the night. So it's like I want to go to bed with a clear conscience, knowing I did everything I can for those kiddos, and they have a vested interest in their own growth, and their parents have a vested interest in their investment. And if we all work together, that kid is going to succeed. But when one of those three is missing, it's just a recipe for disaster.
well, and I think you and I have both set up our studios to teach our parents what is appropriate, what is
Yeah.
going to actually matter if your child wants to do something beyond the studio, beyond their formative years.
Yeah.
If they want to go professional, that they need this level of training, they need this experience. This is really what matters, not all of this other stuff. And we just get caught up in the spotlight on it. I loved, so during the World Cup, did you read any of the articles about Norway and how they do youth sports?
Oh, where they're taking the scores out of things?
So
That
they
it's for
make it all
kids?
about fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like about development and about fun. That's it. It's not about
Yep.
the competition. It's not about who's
Yep.
best. It's not about anything at all like that. Nothing like what we have done to youth sports here in
Mm-hmm.
the US and Canada. It's, is it for fun? Are we developing? That's it.
Yep. That's
That is
it.
it. And look at how well they did.
Well, and also look at their numbers of youth that are staying in sports as opposed to the dropout rates that we have.
Yeah. Because it's a lifetime of enjoyment, which is
Yeah.
what sport is, which is what dance should be. It
Yeah.
should be about expression and enjoyment. And yes, there's learning and growth and skill development, but you should be having fun doing it.
Yeah.
And when it becomes a burden, and especially at young ages, there's a problem there.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Totally. We're getting off topic a little bit.
I know we're off on a tangent, but we got into the whole,
We got into the kids and sports.
I know.
But
We,
it all does relate back to being an entrepreneur. If all we're looking at is like KPIs and the scorecard of of numbers in our business, and we're not looking at the development of our people or the support that we're giving them or the lack of training, like on the other end of it, we're sucking the fun of it out.
Hmm.
Everybody wants to be on a winning team, whether it be in sport or in business. And the best teams have the people that are actively engaged and involved. So, as the CEO, how do you pull that out of your people?
Well, and are you hiring the right people? Are you hiring to win? Are you
Uh-huh.
hiring people who fit within your culture and
Yeah.
who are on board with your mission and vision? And then you train them maybe in any of the skills that they may lack or the experience that
Yeah.
they don't have. I I've said this a million times. I will die on this sword. I will hire good people that I can train,
Mm-hmm.
fully believe in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it versus
Yeah.
going out and hiring the latest. Well, so you think you can dance doesn't exist anymore, but so you think you
Yeah.
can dance star or somebody from a convention circuit or whatever, just because they're a big name, or this choreographer that seems so fantastic, or whatever, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't align with my mission, my vision, and my values, and you
Yeah.
don't want to be a part of our team and help our team grow and help us grow to be something amazing for kids, I don't care what your
Not
name
gonna
is.
work. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And that's really what CEOs need to be structuring their hiring process around is their core values, is their mission statement, is their purpose.
Yep.
Everybody has a service that they're providing, but what is the purpose that lights you up when you're doing it?
Yeah.
And that's how you hire.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it before, like going into like hiring somebody for the front desk, and we've gone to Starbucks or we've found somebody who's given us great service in a totally different industry.
Yes.
And we're like, hey, I love your personality and I love who you are. Would you like to come and work for me?
Mm-hmm.
They may not know anything about dance, but they are a good human being with
Yeah.
a great personality, and I will take them over to where I am in a heartbeat.
That, my Starbucks boy, I'm so bad he moved away before I had a chance to poach him. I tried so hard. I tried so hard. He would have been so fantastic as a front desk in the dance studio. Let's get into a little bit of like when did you realize you were the bottleneck in your business? Do you have any examples? Just for like the people that are like, "Am I the bottleneck?" It's like, how can we tell them, "Yes, you are. No, you're not."
Well, you are if people are constantly coming and asking you a million questions. I think when, yeah, I mean, if they're having to ask you, hey, can you look over this email? Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? A lot of times it's can you help me with things that you're like, why
Mhm.
am I helping you with this? In your
Yeah.
mind, you wouldn't say it. Well, maybe in frustration at some point you might, but like, why am I having to help you with this?
Hmm.
Why am I having to take that phone call?
Yeah.
Why am I having to deal with this? Like where's the problem here? Right? If everything has to go through you, if every decision, if every thought, if everything has to
Yeah.
go through you, you're the bottleneck. You have trained your people that they need to come to you for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Um, and for me, it was the same thing. I had my admin team going like this, like, what is this? What is this? And I'm like, I answered this question last week. Like, why do we not know this? And then we just had like a sit down meeting about it. And I'm like, I said, I don't know why this keeps happening. And they're like, well, everything's in your head. And I'm like, well, let's get it out of my head. And
Mhm.
so, like, for people that have been listening to us, you'll have already, you know this, but my operations and system started with giving my team the task or permission of telling me the 5 things that they needed answered each week. Like they would create a list of 5, sometimes it was 10, whatever. They would create a list And I had a half-hour commute back and forth from the studio to home. I would voice record what my answer would be to each of those things. And it started off as kind of an FAQ for customers, and then it grew into system creation. And we built our operations Bible from just that simple task. And now we review the operations manual in the summer months when we're slower. We go over it, we make sure that they're up to date, we put tasks, dates on them. And then when we hit into the new season, they're ready, they're prepared, and they're trained on it.
Yeah.
So it sounds overwhelming, and it can be if you're like, I'm going to knock this out in a week. Good luck. Best like, and I mean that. Good luck to you. But it's like making your bed. It's never done.
Yeah. Well,
And you just have to learn to fall in love with that and designate a certain amount of time every week to dealing with the tedious task of how you do business.
because businesses are cyclical and everything is going to keep happening over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, yeah, there are the things that you can't predict and the things that we'll write books about one day of like, you'll never guess what happened to
Yeah.
this. I do
Right.
it all the time in the school system where I'm like, well, something must have happened because now we have a new system or we have a new process. And, it's like for every dumb thing that happens, you now get a new rule.
Yeah.
But for the most part, operations are cyclical. And so it should be that you have the summer checklist that you go through. Here's what we need to have. This is what we need to go through. Here's what we need to review.
Yeah.
Has anything changed? What do we need to update? This is how we do business.
Yeah.
Every single
And projects, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, and every single time. And if you're constantly getting asked about those things, how do I run payroll? You're the business manager. What do you mean you don't know how to run payroll? It's not like we switch systems, you know? Or what's the password for this? Or, hey, I'm not sure how to respond to this email. And it's like a billing question, and they can't read the statement. These are things that you're like, one, did you hire the wrong person for this job? Maybe. Or two, are you the reason, like, have you gotten on them because they haven't done something right? Have you not given them permission? Have you not given them enough information? Have you not trained them well enough in something? It
Yeah.
it's hard. I think a lot of times we realize when a system's broken or when only one person knows it in a women-based business, when somebody goes out on maternity leave.
Oh, yeah.
And then nobody seems to know how to do that person's job.
Mhm.
And
Which
you're
is
like,
when you learn that cross training is important.
correct.
And so
You always have to have the backup.
I was laughing earlier, not because of what you were saying, but because you said, "What's the password?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm always asking my staff, what's the password?" What's from?
Yeah,
I think, like, on the other side of this, I think I knew that I was on the right track in making it when my team collectively told me to stay out of certain things because I just messed it up. Because they had improved certain ways of doing it and I was doing it the old way. And they're like, you need to stop going into that software because you're wrecking it. And I'm like, done. I know where to find the answer, but also if I don't want to do that task anymore and I don't want to be involved in that day to day because I'm trying to grow my business, why would I ever step back into it?
right.
I know where the answer is. I'm intentionally not going to look for it.
Yeah,
I'm going to let my team do their job and I'm going to get out of their way because they're better at it than I ever was.
absolutely.
Like, and that,
Eventually, you train the people to train the new people.
yeah,
It's not falling on you. And yes,
no,
it feels really weird to feel really dumb in your business, like in the day-to-day operations of things that you're, I mean, I've told clients this. If I have to cover the front desk,
oh, it's bad.
somebody's out, it's an emergency, and I'm like, hey, I'll come in. I got it. I can do this. I did
Yeah,
this. It's my business. I cannot do this. I
Mm-mm.
cannot do this. I am a disaster. I can't even freaking turn on the TVs. Like, there's a special way to do it. I can't do it.
And there's a security code on it now. Like, when did that
No,
happen?
there's like all this stuff, and I'm just like, and then answering the phone. I don't know how to put things on hold. We have a different phone than before. It's not a
Yeah.
simple telephone. I'm like trying to set up trials, and it's yes, I know the system. I helped build it, but I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, wait, hold on, how? Yeah, I mess up the
A
basics
lot.
way more than I do it right anymore because that's not my job.
Yeah.
And it's glorious, absolutely. But it's kind of scary sometimes when you're like, and I've looked at clients and I've been like, I would fire myself if I was the front desk. It's like I'm really, really bad at this. And
And
they're
you
like, yeah, you
should.
are. And I'm like, aren't you glad this isn't my job?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's get into a little bit of, should we get into some listener challenges?
Yes.
Okay. So, for those of you that have been listening to this, we would love if you could find one decision this week that somebody normally brings to you. And instead of answering, just ask them, what do you think?
I love it.
Me too.
I always tell my people, so whether it's the people that I manage at school, my
Mm-hmm.
departments and people that I manage, or my employees at the studio, I always tell them, I don't want just problems. I want you to bring me solutions
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yeah.
will talk it out.
Yeah.
Don't come to me with just complaints because I want thinkers. I want people to think it through. I want them to bring suggestions. It doesn't mean that that's everything that we're, and that's what we're going to decide to do. And we can absolutely talk it out. But asking them what they think.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we should do? How would you handle this?
Yeah.
Gives you great insight into them. And do they even know what they're supposed to be doing? But also, you're getting them to think it through and you're helping build the confidence, especially when they tell you something, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah. Or if it's not, like if it's an answer that you can't use, you don't have to dismiss it all. You can say, like, okay, I understand what you're thinking. Have you considered this?
Hmm.
And train them to think in ways that are going to help lead them to success
Yeah.
rather than no. Like, no is not helpful. Tell
Hmm.
them why, guide them to a solution that's going to be beneficial. And also, like we say this all the time, but check yourself before you wreck yourself. If your instinct is no, why? Like, did you actually listen and think it through their suggestion?
Or have you gone down that road before and you
Yeah.
know what the pitfalls are? And so then that's where you say, have you thought about, or hey, yep, I fully understand where you're coming from and I understand why you want to go here. Have you thought about this, this, and this?
Yeah.
Or playing devil's advocate, what if they come back and say this to you? How do you then respond? And what if the response is this? And so you kind of take them through that like back and forth that you've been through, especially if it's a customer service thing or trying to
Yeah.
meet other people or making a change in something. And so you play off of it and get them to kind of think through all of the ways that this could go.
Yeah.
And you pick the one that you're like, I can live with this, even if it goes this way.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on the severity of the consequence, it's best to let them go with it and learn on their own. Like, from real life consequences, they can be good and bad. You can have good consequences for good behaviors and bad consequences for, ill-informed behaviors. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to give your staff the autonomy to make a mistake, knowing it's a mistake if the consequence isn't going to be too severe. But then support them through it. Don't just leave them and go,
Not the way I would have done it, right?
right. That's helpful. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Um,
I love this quote.
okay.
Confidence grows every time someone is trusted to make a decision.
Yes. So for us in the dance studio industry, being a CEO is a lot like how we train our classes. You can't give those tough corrections if you haven't first built the relationship,
Oh, that's with everybody.
right? Like
Everybody.
everybody should have to take a dance class and lead it at least once in their life so they can learn some of these things, I think. But I would never give my students a correction that I knew was going to be hard for them to hear if I didn't have a pre-existing relationship with them where they knew that I was invested in their growth and genuinely have their best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is just like parenting. Okay, let's tequila time this a little bit before we wrap up.
Okay.
What, what is something ridiculous someone has asked your permission to do?
Um, I'm gonna go with a parenting one.
Okay.
Can I go to bed now? Yes, please. If you are
Like what
tired, go to
have your
sleep.
children asked that?
Yes. Yes. Can I go to bed now? No, nobody's telling you you have to stay up. Like, what is happening here? Please go to sleep if you're tired.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I
that's
think I
hilarious.
did look at them like that and was like, sure.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Bless them.
Love it.
What's something somebody's ridiculously asked you?
Ah, it wasn't really an ask, it was more of a sharing statement, but in the worst. So this was early studio years. I hired a receptionist that I wasn't sure about, but we had a panel, and Todd and I were doing hiring together. And I wasn't sure, but he was like, she's going to be great. She had had her own business, like things. And I was like, okay, okay. And she was doing the front desk. And I came in, there was a preschool class going on, and she was in tears, like openly sobbing at the desk in the lobby, surrounded by all the parents, having that exact face that you're showing now. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say her name, but I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? And she very loudly said, he gave me the crabs, and then went on to talk about how her boyfriend cheated on her, gave her crabs. And you've never seen parents hug their children so tightly. It's like, I'm pretty sure you can't get it across a desk at the lobby, but like, dude, what? That to me falls under things that you should know better to not ever talk about at work in front of customers. But here we are.
Huh.
I made Megan speechless. Have I ever told you that story?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was a
Wow.
fun talk afterwards of what's appropriate to say and what's not appropriate to say at the front desk in front of customers.
But also, like, she had her own business and she didn't know that. I mean, we have had, I mean, I had to create a what is professional and what is
Right.
not just in dress code, but like in conversation and behavior.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of things that we have in our onboarding and our training comes from crazy things like this that you're like, I never
Yes.
thought that I would need to say this, but this is
So,
professional
yeah.
and this is not
Talking about your STDs in front of customers is unprofessional.
in a children's dance studio. I mean, period, anywhere, but like in a children's dance studio.
I know.
Imagine all these little children.
I'm going to write a book one day called I Can't Make This Stuff Up.
No. Yeah, but could you
Yeah.
imagine the children that went home and asked their moms what crabs were?
Well, no, they were all too little, but the moms were hugging their kids.
Oh, I'm sure, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the kids were more concerned about why she was crying. Bless their hearts. But yeah.
Probably wondering why she was sad she had Sebastian, the crab.
Right? Let's hope so. Let's hope.
So fun.
Let's hope for the love of God Almighty that that's what they thought. Yeah.
That's totally what they thought. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have had people that have asked me, like, can they change the toilet paper? Can they replace the paper towels? I'm like, I did have one front desk person, she didn't last very long, asked me if she could answer the phone. Yes, yes. That that's like number two on your list.
On your job description? Did you tell her to check your job description? I don't recommend it.
Just don't do it on the internet. People get really
Yeah,
mad.
whatever. I said what I said. I stand by it, and I will do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Out of all of the things that we've talked about, and we've talked about a lot of things because we've been doing this for
Yeah.
weekly now, just about a year, almost a year now.
Yeah. I
We've
know
talked
that would
about,
upset people.
right, we've talked about a lot of stuff.
I've said way more controversial things. But you know what?
Hey,
Bless you.
bless
Bless
you.
your
And
heart.
you know what? For everybody who's new and listening, we're so excited that you're here. And
Yeah.
we love having a conversations and we love hearing what you have to think. We love knowing what you are dealing with and what issues you have. And maybe we can
Yeah.
give some advice and guidance because, we got a lot of opinions. Patty and I started this because we were going to be the old ladies sitting on the front porch passing out advice to random strangers as
Random
they walked
strangers.
by.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should just do a podcast instead. Here we are. But yeah, I mean, we would love to hear. What do you think? It's great. It's great. I
That's great.
love building a community, hopefully of like-minded people, even the grumpy ones. We
I
will.
don't even mind the ones that disagree with me.
Oh,
I welcome intelligent conversation. Um, yeah, I'm
yes,
gonna leave it at that. I welcome
absolutely.
intelligent conversation.
Well, and I value the ones who give their experience and say, I would feel this way because
Yeah,
and this is my experience and why I would take this. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. The keyboard warrior, judgmental, just nasty ones, you can go find somewhere else to take that because that's not what our vibe. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about next week?
Yeah. So next week, we're going to continue on this whole idea of leadership,
Yeah.
um, and the uncomfortable truths about leadership, because
Yeah.
apparently it's struck a nerve. So next week, we're going to talk about how apparently being liked isn't actually in the job description either. Dun, dun, dun.
Uh, yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you next week on No Bras Required. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Our goal for this podcast is to be that village where we can have those deeper conversations. We can talk about the serious things and walk each other home from diapers to death and all the things that come in between, but also to bring the humor and our crazy squirrel moments and all of our funny stories that we've lived from parenting to entrepreneurship to just being us and the adventures that we come up with. But we want to build a community and be those people to give you some sound advice that, maybe makes you giggle a little bit every once in a while.
So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, share with your favorite hot mess mom friends, and give us a follow on Instagram at No Bras Required Pod.
Every week, we'll drop a new episode tackling everything from marriage and mom guilt to leadership and loss with humor, heart, and maybe a little tequila or wine. So bring your favorite drink and join us every week.